Hello, and welcome to the Argyle Digital Marketing Leadership Forum. My name is Brittany Sullivan with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. I have some important information to share with you, and then we will turn the floor over to our esteemed opening keynote speaker. First, we would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Improvato. Our sponsor is committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booth from the main agenda page, which includes complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. We also welcome you to stay socially connected during today's event. For those of you who are active on social media, please use the hashtag ArgyleDigital and follow us at Argyle Exec Forum. Also, be sure to follow Argyle on LinkedIn for special announcements. I would also like to take a moment to touch on our content neutrality policy, which we have curated based on the feedback we have received over the years from our members. We have worked closely with our speaking faculty to ensure that you receive a set of balanced and neutral viewpoints during the session today, and we truly appreciate our members' support of this policy. Finally, and most importantly, we would love to hear from you. So during each session, we encourage you to submit your questions and comments in the Q&A box on your screen. Following each presentation, we have set aside time for our speakers to weigh in on your questions. Thank you again for joining us today. Now let's get started. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Frank Arterell, Faculty Professor of Marketing at Santa Clara University and Strategic Digital Marketing and MarTech Consultant. Frank has recently been recognized as a thought leader in marketing in the Marquee Who's Who 2024, a recognition which underscores his expertise and commitment to the field. We're excited to have Frank with us for his opening keynote titled Strategies for Achieving CX Excellence in the New Marketing Paradigm. Welcome, Frank, and over to you.
Thank you, Brittany, and I'm very pleased to be here today to present CX and the new paradigm of customer experience. It's one of my favorite subjects and topics. So let's start with my agenda. I'm going to give you the framework of CX, and at the end, I'm very pleased to share my CX maturity analysis model that I will share with you. And you will be able to understand where you stand in this CX space. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about the consumer behavior driving CX, because I think it's important to understand how the consumer behave today. And I will talk also about marketing paradigms and how you can propel CX with the new regulations. In addition, I'm going to emphasize on AI and how AI is infusing MarTech and ad tech stack, which is an important parameter today in marketing. And I will definitively show you the blueprint for delivering CX. And at the end, I want to talk a little bit and touch base about the CX operating model, which is another framework that you need in order to implement CX. So let's start with the consumer, or the framework, if I can say that first. When you think about framework, I think it's very important for CX to make an ROI behind it. So when you look at CX, you need to look at the revenues that you will be generated because of customer loyalty, customer satisfactions. It's a fact. Anytime a customer is satisfied, anytime you do loyalty, you improve your advocacy, you increase your sales. So when you embark in the space of CX, you need to figure out about what will be your ROI or analyze your ROI over the road. And when you think about CX, you need to think about the total experience. The total experience really referred to the holistic perceptions formed by individuals when they engage or interact with your brand, your product, your partners, your influencers, and your organizations when they call for customer support. So when you think about customer experience, you need to think about CX for sure, but you need also to figure out about employee experience, user experience when users or buyers use your product. What is the experience? What are the frictions? And finally, what I will call the multi-experience, which is a new factors Multi-experience was born because of the new device, such as IoT or VR or augmented reality device. So because of that, you have been increasing the experience with your customer. So when you think about a framework, really think about what will be the ROI behind your CX strategy. So I talk about consumer. The consumer behavior is where you are going to really put the foundation for your CX. Today, according to McKinsey, you have about 10 touch points. 10 touch points where a consumer is going to get to know your brand before he buy your product. And these 10 touch points are very similar if you do business to business or direct to consumers. So it's very interesting. But what is more interesting is the touch points are increasing and they double over the past 5 years. So what has changed for the consumers? You know already what I'm putting on the screen, but I just want to remind you 3 factors that I think are very important. When you think about ubiquity of technology, technology is part of our life. It's a reality. You have an iPhone, you live with your technology every day, 24/7. So it's a fact, and you need to consider that when you analyze your consumer behavior. The other thing is very important is the Uberization of the on-demand economy. Since Uber launched in 2009, now everyone expects convenience and immediate access to goods and services. So when you engage in a service or selling a product, you need to get that in your mind. And also the Amazon domino effect. If you are a millennial, if you are from Generation Z, you know that you want fast, reliable, and cost-effective services. And the Amazon domino effect is across all sectors. Everyone expects this type of services. So that are the things that you need to consider for the consumer behavior. And the last things, but not less, is the consumer today is a non-linear consumer journey. What it means is the customer is in a driver's seat. He controls all brand interactions. And he's going to face a lot of micro moment of truth with your brand, your product, or your services. And more importantly, he can access your brand or your product at any time, anywhere. And that is based on the ubiquity of technology. So when you have this context, you need to craft now the customer profile for CX. And when you craft customer profile for CX, you need to understand 3 things. You need to know how you are going to define your persona, how you are going to define your ICP, what we call ideal customer profile, and that relates to the business to business. And within the persona and ICP, who are the most valuable customer? In order to do that, you go and you try to examine to define your persona. Your persona is really a person, and we want to know what occupation they have, what challenge, what goal, where do they come from, do they work in a specific industry? And after that, you can create a user persona or buyer persona or whatever is the persona that you are going to target. When you think about ICP, it's an important component, especially if you are in a business to business. You have also to define the profile of your account. And when you define an account, you can look at the revenue, you can look at the size, you can look at the industry. More importantly, today, we look at technology. So when I was working for DNA, a startup in 2017, the technographic data was about 80% of the scoring model, because the technographic data was able to tell you what technology company use in order to adopt our product. So it's an important component, and I want to emphasize on this aspect. But when you have your ICP, after that, you can decide what will be your target audience. And you can target a company that generate over $5 million, or you can target companies that are in UK, France, or Germany. Now I'm going to give you the tools. There is 4 specific tools that you can use. For persona, you can use consumer mapping tool, like tools like Lucy Chart, like Canvas, and you can have a visualization of your consumer. You can also have qualitative metrics. So you can use NPS score, you can use a consumer satisfaction score, and you can use also quantitative metrics such as customer lifetime value, churn rate. All this data is gold, because when you get and you analyze this data, you can understand where you are missing the point with your customer, where are the frictions, where you are declining in customer lifetime value. Now let's talk about the new world, the marketing AI or the technology. It's very important if you are getting into the CX world to understand and stitch the profile of your customer in real time. To do that, you include or you integrate technology like customer data platform or tag management system. And these sophisticated tools allow you to keep track of your consumer when they visit your website, when they are active with your advertising, and allow you to get this information in real time, which is very important today in order to do communication with your customer. And finally, and not least, you have what we call lean CX management. Lean CX management is a way for you to examine, to analyze your own process and try to scrap anything that is redundant, eliminate any friction that your customer have, and streamline your process. Lean CX management is something that you can do even today on your own. Just apply the rules and you can start doing CX. Now I talk about the customer, but in this, when you have the persona, when you have the ICP, now the issue is the marketing has changed. And the marketing has changed, creating more regulations. And what are the regulations? Today, it's mandatory to collect consumer consent before you treat or you message the data from your consumer. Today, mobile ID and cookies disappear. You can keep track of that. So as a consequence, audience targeting and personalizations without third-party data, you cannot keep track of your user crossing from one website to another, or from one website to an application. The same way, be able to determine omni-channel attribution model is becoming very difficult because of the third-party data. So these two aspects, where mobile ID and cookie are difficult to track, you need to find a way to bypass this aspect, this issue. And on top of that, you have a consent management. You have a data privacy law like GDPR and CCPA that are required today, that are pushing any marketer or any company to make sure that they are compliant with the new regulation and the law. So what does it mean? Do you think marketing is becoming difficult? I personally think that is gold for marketing, because today you have an ability to really perform marketing. You can really take advantage of these new regulations and advantage of what you have in terms of technology, what you have in terms of AI, to perform user content driven strategy. And I really want to emphasize there, when we talk about regulations, when we talk about the difficulties of this cookie world or cookie-less environment today, it's not an issue. And I'm going to show you now how you can do things better and perform in the CX space. So think about first-party data, personal information. What is goal today is to collect email and phone number from your consumers. So in order to do that, you of course need a consent mechanisms. So you need to develop and to implement consent management platform. So you have technology like Tilium that allow you to develop a tag management system, but within the tag management system, they have a way to collect the user consent. So anytime you do an implementation of the technology, you will improving the way you collect this PI information. And PI information is gold And when you have and you master predictive analytics or predictive CX, so when you manage AI tools, you can develop scoring model, you can develop deterministic business model, probabilistic business model, and perform your marketing the way you'd like. With first-party data, with the user consent, with predictive analytics, you are going to be able to scale advertising and marketing. And because the world has changed, so when you will be targeting on Google or when you will do programmatic advertising, you will be able to perform leveraging what we call Unify ID 2.0 solutions. So Unify ID 2.0, it's a new regulations between providers of like advertisers or publishers, where you buy your inventory to advertise. They use a new solutions that allow you to bypass the cookie aspect. So it's in a few words, it's a replacement of the cookie. And when you do business with Google, Google will give you the flag, the alert for a group of people that is interested in a certain type of content. So we shift today to what we call a contextual targeting. But in order to do contextual targeting, you really need to get a predictive analytic inside your company. You need to collect user consent, and you need to work on first-party data and abandon a little bit what we call third-party data. So I talk about the consumer. I talk about the regulations in advertising. Let's talk now more about how you can leverage AI and technology in order to perform what we talk about. And I'm going to talk about three pieces. The first one is your MarTech and your ad tech stack. So when you think about your MarTech stack, you need to think about what is your digital user platform. So digital user platform, this is really where you face your customer. This is your website. This is your applications. This is your IoT device. And this is where you generate these omnichannel personalizations. And you need to have the right technology to be able to perform omnichannel personalizations. In order to do that, you need to integrate what we call a headless CMS system, for instance. But when you have this capability to do omnichannel personalizations, you need to have this customer data platform. Customer data platform allow you to create the 360 view of the customers, to teach any data related to a customer in real times. And when you have this data, which is gold, you can have an engine, and the engine is managed by advanced AI. And with AI and machine learning, you can create score, you can activate NLP or generative AI. So you can create content and optimize the content based on the consumer journey. So all these AI pieces coming today allow you to perform, for instance, if you are implementing a chatbot, you will be with AI able to perform your chatbot in a better way, in a real time, and an ongoing process. And when you think about AI, it's going to be your engine between your multi-channel communication and your omni-channel communication. You need these AI paradigms in order to perform your communications when you try to leverage your email, your social media platforms, or your Google platform. When you have established this piece, it's not over. You need after that to really think about how your demand side platform, so the way you do programmatic advertising, how it's going to be integrating into your MarTech. It's very important when you do programmatic advertising to connect with your CDP, your database, and potentially with your scoring model. You can also pass this information to your partners who is going to perform your advertising. With these integrations, you are going to be fast scaling your advertising when you do the reach outside of your website. And finally, and not least, AI is also infusing your CRM system and allow you to do business intelligence. So when you think about solutions like Salesforce today they have reduced sales repetitive tasks. They have creating scoring for MQL. You can improve the sales operations. You can make your sales rep more successful because AI is totally infusing Salesforce. And with business intelligence and tool like Tableau, allow you to get in real times metrics and KPI that close the loop and allow you to improve your MarTech and your AdTech with the different metrics. Now, this is going to be the blueprint for CX excellence delivery. So this blueprint is really something I realized when I was the CMO for the past few years in the Middle East. So I did the implementations of an educational platform, and we were targeting business to business and individuals. And I moved to Dubai in order to create this new platform and localize the platform. And the beauty of it is I'm going to show you all the MarTech and AdTech stack I implemented, integrating AI in order to perform personalization at scale. So it's going to be scary because it's going to be a lot of information, but I want you to have this view, because if you're able within your company to create this similar puzzle, you will be able to achieve personalization at scale. So let's start first. I talk about DXP, I talk about CDP, I talk about AI and ML tools and multi-channel. This is the way that I did the implementations in the Middle East. I worked with Sidecore. Sidecore was the platform, the DXP platform. And with the DXP platform, we were able to do omnichannel communications. For the 360 view of the customers, I use a Salesforce CDP and Tilium for the tag management system. And when I did the implementation of Salesforce, I also use Salesforce Einstein. So Salesforce suite of product integrate Einstein in any suite of their product, which means you can leverage AI and machine learning. And same thing for a multi-channel marketing hub. So the multi-channel marketing hub allow us to do communications with our linking Google, Facebook, and Twitter platform. So we use it, and we use the Salesforce. But I did not finish at this point. I also integrated ABM platform, and I use Sixth Sense ABM platform, one of the leader in the B2B space, in order to perform account-based marketing. And we connected the Sixth Sense ABM platform with the CRM system. And the integration, like I talked early on about AdTech, advertising technology, and your MarTech is very, very important. When you do the integrations, you can leverage the data and create score. So with Sixth Sense, Sixth Sense was integrated to the CRM, Salesforce CRM system in order to capture the data and create some scoring about the account in order to perform advertising. And when you get it this way, you improve your lead gen program. And I finished this configurations talking about the connection with the ERP and also the implementations of Amazon AWS, Amazon Redshift. So you have in front of you the real pictures of a real case that has been working for personalization on a global scale. So the technology I used was Sidecore, was Salesforce, was Tilium, AWS, and we use a Microsoft for ERP. But in your environment, you may have different technology, but you can achieve the same. Now, I talk about this blueprint. In order to implement CX, there is also very important things to know. One of them is your organizations. You need to have a clear visions from the leadership about how they push for CX, how people think about customer first. And usually when you have an organizations, it's pretty flat and you have different functions. And all the functions work in some point supporting the customer. And if you are in sales functions, you are going to work with IT and ask them some tools to perform your activity. And if you are in customer support or product development, you will do the same. However, you work in silo. So I completely recommend a chain of command where you have a CX leader, where you have a chief experience officer that is going to manage all your CX activity and program. And by doing so, is going to coordinate all the effort with your IT team. So you will be able to implement the blueprint I set up earlier on. If you don't have this type of organization, you create redundancy, you create overlap of technology. And I've been really involved in such organizations, especially when I worked for and did some consulting for HP. The CMO asked me, say, Frank, I invest $1 million in technology and I cannot achieve account-based marketing. Can you help me with that? And in fact, it was very simple. It's because the technology were not connected together and everyone was asking for a piece of technology. So when you think about MarTech and AdTech, you need to think about a puzzle and you need someone who is going to manage all the piece of the puzzle to make it affordable and available for everyone to achieve their goal. So the other things I want to mention when you think about a CX organization, think about mobility, think about mobile applications. And when I say that, I'm going to give you this experience. When I was at 24 Fitness, I created an applications to support customers and to make sure that they were connected to the gym and we were able to support them and motivate them to do their gym. However, when you think about CX, you need to think about all the stakeholder. And in CX, stakeholder could be your employee, but it could be also your leadership executive team. So we created a mobile app, was able to track all the sales in real time, 24/7. So when you think about the mobility, not only think about your customer per se, but think about your partner, think about your employee, think about your leadership, think about your influencers. You need to be able to leverage the technology in order to make the life easier for them to satisfy your customers. So I'm going to stop now and finish with what I say, a CX maturity value assessment model. This model, I developed it, and I have more around this model. I created a toolkit, but I'm not going to share that with you today. But it just gives you an idea about where you can see yourself in this CX space. And I hope you will be on the phase or stage 5, where you have a CXO. But you may be on a line of business, like every business is defining some principles, some process in order to support the customer. But it's an interesting model that should allow you to say, okay, if you want to move from stage 3 to stage 4, what do you have to do? If you are on the stage 5, I will be pleased to hear from you, because it's very rare to see a company reaching this point, because CX is very new. Although, because usually when we talk about CX, we talk about customer support, but CX is, like I said at the beginning, it's what we call total experience. So if you want to accept this presentation as a model, feel free to ask Melissa or the organizer, and they will send it to you. Now, I'm here now for the Q&A. And before engaging in a Q&A, if you want more information, you can access my book, Elevate Customer Experience, Your Blueprint for CX Excellence. It's not for sale, it's free on Amazon. And I've done this book for students, but it's also for professionals who want to know more about how do you implement CX excellence. And if you have any questions after the session, after the Q&A, feel free to reach me through email, through LinkedIn, even by phone. I'm usually very responsive. So thank you for your attendance, and I'm going to pass to Melissa for any Q&A questions.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank, for such an insightful presentation. We are almost out of time, but looks like we could probably squeeze in at least one audience question, and the remaining ones we can absolutely follow up with you to respond to. This one question asks, what are the key metrics to track when assessing the success of a customer-first operating model? And how can these metrics be used to drive continuous improvement?
So you can use NPS, Net Promoter Score. That will give you exactly the representation of your customers. But the very important thing when you do an NPS is you have to be very transparent the way you collect the information. And you should do that with a third party that is going to collect the information in order to get the satisfaction of your consumer. The interesting things about NPS is you can track the experience of the consumer from brand awareness, the first time they touch your brand, up to the after sales. And when you have the NPS and when you have the score, I would like to encourage you to do more and contact your customer in order to understand within the process where was the frictions with your customer. So that is a qualitative metrics. The other metrics, if you are more ROI, will be to look at your customer lifetime value or your churn rate. So the churn rate is going to give you the flag right away about where you are bleeding. And that will be the two metrics that I will look at it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Frank. That is all the time we do have for questions. But again, we had quite a few come through, so I'll be happy to send those your way. But thank you again for an excellent keynote. I also want to thank everyone else for joining us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be made available on demand following the event. Our next session will begin shortly at 11:35 Eastern, which will be a fireside chat titled Hyper-Personalization for Digital Marketing and CX. Please click the join button that will appear on your screen to be redirected, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you again, Frank.